couple to help you help yourself out. You know what I'm saying? The rest you're gonna get paid for if you want to keep moving.
Sometimes the most promising informants don't pan out. Investigators had hoped that a self-admitted dope peddler known as Elvis would help them set up targets in Operation Room Service. But he changed his mind after he raised enough money to post bond.
Police search warrant! Hands up! Put upstairs! Up!
4 weeks later, police sweep him up in the room service raids. Now he's back in custody, facing new charges. And investigators Adrian Sandoval and Drake Carpenter give him one last chance to work a number.
You saw how many people came down?
Oh, yeah. How many of those people came down were targets you were talking to me and him about? A lot, right? So we already knew about this whole thing. We were just trying to see how good and solid your information was. Whether you're keeping it real with us or were you feeding us a line of bullshit.
You're keeping it real?
Absolutely. It's not over for you yet, but obviously the game has changed.
Remember when we said the first person in the car gets to drive? You were the first person in the car. We were setting it up before this came down. All right? There's more targets that we talked about that aren't in here, right?
You still want to get out and you still want to try and work a number, we're going to arrange that for you. You're going to be given that opportunity because you kept it real with us before. And if you don't, you can say you don't and you can leave. Go back to the holding cell with the rest of them guys. We're going to go down in this street conspiracy case. It's on you. The window of opportunity is still there. Hasn't closed completely. But now, you got to be more thorough. You got to have better stuff. Right. A lot of the stuff he gave us, they already had in play.
Right.
So if you can't go outside of that box, then we really don't need you. He's of no use to anybody. We're not trying to screw you. You understand what I'm saying? So if you need something, you call, all right? And that's keeping it real, all right?
Most all the arrests were for felony charges. It was a combination of narcotics arrests, gun arrests, prostitution arrests. Some of the prostitution arrests would be misdemeanors, but the narcotics were all felonies, as were the guns.
On the heels of the room service raids, the police call in the local press to send a message to the public and a warning to the bad guys on the Mannheim Strip.
This is just a small tip of the iceberg. We're gonna have to be up here just diligent, like every day, all day, 24 hours. Because their operation is a 24-hour operation that they have just going on.
We have no delusions that the gangs and the like are gonna vanish and the people involved with this are going away. We are gonna stay vigilant, we're gonna stay on it, and we're gonna continue to work with the community. And as gangs and other individuals migrate from the city, and try to come out here, let them know that this is as difficult, if not more difficult, than operating in the city, and that you're better off going elsewhere.
In the weeks that follow, investigator Mizell Walls and the Central Gangs Unit begin developing a new sting in West Chicago. They stay in contact with their informant Jefferson, who's left the city to build a new life elsewhere. But few who enter the dope game ever get out. If they don't wind up dead, they almost always land behind bars.
As far as crime, I'm like, hey, you do the crime, you do the time, But some things I think that in order to better the situation so that society just doesn't completely just crumble to the ground, they're just going to have to revisit some of the penalties that are being handed out for some of these violations. Maybe the judges are starting to see that these nonviolent offenses and just sending these guys away for 40, 50, 60 years for crack cocaine or whatever, powder cocaine, whatever it is really not really helping the situation. They made mistakes. A lot of them at a young age, 17, 18, where we all were immature at that age. And they made mistakes, and it's like they're paying for it for their whole life,
And so the game goes on, 24/7, with no end in sight.
We're not really here to say you did what they're saying you did or not. We're just trying to see maybe you want to sit down and talk to us about maybe trying to help yourself out of this nonsense. If not, that's your prerogative.
There was a lot of guys that came down in this operation. Basically, we're going to everybody one at a time. The first man in the car gets to drive. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna come down pretty hard. Here's a number, man. You decide what you want to do.
Good luck. I appreciate you, man. Good luck with your case. All right.